Let's begin. I am going to enable screen share button with all of you in just in case if anyone wants to share anything. Okay, let's begin.
Ma'am,
Bete,
can I start first?
but whoever is presenting today, I request you all to please limit your presentation to 3 minutes only. Okay, and if we run out of time, like after 40 minutes, this session will end. I request you all to join by using the same link. Okay? However,
Okay.
I will not continue the class after 12 because I understand that at 12 many students may have their other classes. So whoever will be left after 12, of course, I will do their presentation after the Eid break. Jana ji, let's begin. So
Okay, ma'am, I'm starting.
we are going to have Faika first. Faika Rizwan, over to you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Faika Rizwan, and as we all know that media conglomerates are media group or media institution that owns numerous companies involved in mass media. And if we talk about media conglomeration in Pakistani context, we have several names. For example, Jung Group, Nawai Waqt. But I chose Dawn Media Group. Because I think that Dawn Media Group is a left-wing media group, and being left-wing media, it supports social equality. And I chose Dawn Media, and the Dawn Media Group covers three areas, which is print media, broadcast media, and internet media. So in print media, Dawn has daily English newspaper. Then there's the Star, which is evening newspaper. Then Herald, which ma'am suggested us in the previous course. Ma'am, if you remember, you asked us to read on Herald. Which talks about current affairs, and which is a monthly magazine. Then it has Spider, which is also monthly internet magazine, and Aurora, which is marketing and advertising bi-monthly magazine. Then they have broadcast media, which is Dawn News, which is a 24/7 news channel, and 9 music channel. And then internet media includes dawn.com, a news website, then Dawn News, which is a news website in Urdu. Then there is Teeli, which is entertainment programming, which is popular on Facebook and Instagram, and images.com, which is based on culture and entertainment websites. So Dawn remained a leftist paper in Pakistan. It is left-wing inclination, and it has been very staunch in the leftist belief, no matter what government is in power. People usually who are writing for Dawn, who are media world, are working for Dawn. And Parvez Hoodboy, who writes for Dawn, he's anti-state and anti-army usually. And I.R. Rahman, who recently passed away, was a human rights activist and a leftist, and he was a columnist in Dawn. So I would like to support my argument with an article that Dawn published on April 25th, 2016, which was written by Murtaza Haider. Basically, it was on Habib University. There was an event happened, and all right-wing media kind of negated, but Dawn News still wrote an article on it. So Habib University, after a recent seminar on religion and culture was being criticized, there was a campaign against the university for supporting Israel. So many local media was falsifying the event, calling it support Israel, defeat jihad. There was another local media said that Habib University is destroying the ideology of Pakistan. But I guess being a left-winged media, Dawn still wrote an article which was Pakistan's right-wing media versus Habib University. And it kind of supported and, kind of highlighted the truth about the event. Thank you so much. This was my presentation.
Thank you, Faika. You investigated Dawn Media Group in detail. However, I'm not quite sure if I understand your examples related to ideological entanglements. I know that Dawn claims that they practice standardized journalism, and another thing is that Dawn usually is very bold in its stance.
Yes, ma'am. The ideological framework of Dawn is, I think, it's leftist, and that makes it anti-state. And if we make a comparative analysis with ARY and PTV News, they both have mainstream media and state control, whereas I just told you that it's a left, Dawn is kind of a left-wing media group.
So when you say anti-state, don't you think it's really hard statement to say? Because this is media's job to work as a watchdog. If media is saying, see, here is this institution, it's not performing its job the way it should be, should it be considered anti-state, or should it be considered critical?
Okay, ma'am, let's consider it critical, ma'am, if you think that anti-state is kind of strong.
Because many other journalists do that. Even in other countries, Barkha Dutt is a famous Indian journalist, and she is very famous for her strong stance. Same is the case with Karan Thapar. I am going to write his name in the chat box. Maybe some of you may be familiar with him. Karan Thapar, sorry, Thaper, N is a mistake. And he once interviewed Benazir Bhutto, and he was very strong in his stance. Similarly, we know many sort of hardcore interviews happening in BBC, in CNN. Even they have criticized their presidents. President Obama was criticized by American media many times. Similarly, President Donald Trump was criticized by American media many times. So I don't think if that can be called anti-state. However, it can be called critical, which is media's job. Thank you, Faika, for your presentation.
Thank you so much.
Who will go next?
Ma'am, can I go next?
Sure, Arshad, go ahead.
Okay. So, ma'am, the media group that I have selected, which is a conglomerate in Pakistan, is Express Media Group. So, Express has it has two news channels in Pakistan on TV. It broadcasts news in Urdu, and one is its entertainment channel, Express Entertainment. And it also had a English news channel, Express 24/7, but it got shut down in 2019. They have three newspapers. One is Daily Express, which is Urdu, and the second is there's Sindhi Daily Express, which is targeting only the Sindhi population, and the other one is Express Tribune, which is the English newspaper.
Are you done with your presentation, Arshad?
No. So the next thing about this media group is that they have been practicing self-censorship. What happened in 2014 was that they wrote a story about Taliban, and Taliban killed about like 3 reporters of this organization, and they started practicing self-censorship. A lot of the content which they post on the news outlets is censored by themselves heavily, especially by their money, who micromanages all the content on Express News by himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Asal, for your presentation. Thank you for studying Lexan Group. I think Express is owned by Lexan Group in Pakistan.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But however, you couldn't give a tangible example related to ideological entanglements. That was my only concern, because that is the second part of the question, where you are supposed to give an example related to ideological entanglements. Anyways, thank you for your presentation. Who would like to go next? Who will go next?
Can start.
Ji bete Usama. Wait a minute. Usama Nadeem, are you here? Usama Nadeem. Ji.
Yes, ma'am.
Usama, what is your full name on Empower? I was entering your marks for your. What is your?
Ma'am, my full name is Usama Nadeem. Usama Nadeem Guraya.
अच्छा हाँ ठीक है बेटे, never mind, I found. ठीक है बेटे जी. उसामा अमजद, go ahead please. जी बेटे, go ahead उसामा अमजद.
Okay. The privatization of media channels in 2002 at the era of Pervez Musharraf gave us to the media conglomerate in Pakistan. Basically, a media conglomerate is a company that owns numerous companies involved in mass media enterprises such as television, radio, publishing, or the internet. The example I chose for media conglomerate is ARY News. They have entertainment channels, ARY Digital, ARY Zindagi, they have ARY Sports, they have their own music channels, ARY Music. Moreover, they have Islamic channels as well, ARY QTV. As a result, they are able to manipulate public opinion in almost every area of life in this manner. Both of these outlets are their company. So this is how they influence public opinion in every aspect of life. The gatekeepers decide that kind of news should be broadcast in the public. They are, in other words, spreading the same ideology. The answer of my second part is, as everybody knows, news channels are considered particularly politically biased. And after the 2013 election, PTI demanded the resignation of the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. During whole movement against electoral rigging, media role had become very interesting. During the moment, Imran Khan came into direct confrontation with chief editor and owner of Jio TV and Daily Jung Group, Mir Shakilur Rahman. During all this, PTI found support from ARY TV that emerged as an opponent and competitor of GeoTV. It was the starting point of media partnership. The projection of electoral rigging issue was drawn in different ways by both media houses. Media was observed as divided on the electoral rigging issues in Pakistan. GeoTV became pro-PMLN and ARY had become pro-PTI channel. Both TV channels' coverage was observed contradictory to each other. And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your presentation, Usama. It was really good. I was enjoying listening to you, but I feel like your presentation ended abruptly. I wonder if you could speak a bit more, but that's okay. Thank you. I have done your grading. Who will go next? Ji, who will go next?
Yes, ma'am.
Usman Shuaib?
Yes, ma'am. I'll go next.
Ji, go ahead, Usman.
Assalamu alaikum. We all know what the media conglomerate is. I'm not going to waste any time explaining what it is. So I'm going to talk about, and I've selected this Dunia Group, which is owned by Mia Amir Mahmood. So they own a newspaper called Roznama Dunia newspaper, which is one of the top-rated newspapers in Pakistan. So coming to their electronic media, they have two channels, Lahore News and Dunia News, or Dunia Entertainment. Unlike Jio and ARY, they have only two channels. But what makes them unique is that they own Punjab group of colleges, and they own a university, and they own a school, elite school. They even own a bakery, Dosa. So they're smartly targeting people. Psychologically, I'm thinking. So they own a college, university. So मतलब जो उधर पढ़ते होंगे लोग वो दुनिया को ज़्यादा प्रेफर करेंगे because इंसान हमेशा अपने आप को चीज़ से वो एसोसिएट करता है कि मतलब कि जिधर वो पढ़ा हो जिधर वो है हो तो मतलब उनका जो व्यू पॉइंट होगा वो उस न्यूज़ चैनल से मोस्ट लाइकली ज़्यादा उस चैनल से वो इंस्पायर होंगे And talking about the ideological stance, so Dunia News is kind of pro Noon League, but in a balanced way, not making it too obvious. But Mia Amir Mahmood is a businessman, and at times Dunia News is supporting Noon League, but it's not that obvious, but still obvious. That's all.
Thank you, Usman, for your presentation. Again, for today's presentations, my concern has been that please come up with more tangible examples that are really, convincing. For example, last time we were talking about Gourmet News Network's propaganda, how in that case, like if a brand was using its channel to propagate their messages, and then Adil gave an example which was related to uh, a bold news propaganda in favor of to protect their exec scandal and all that. However, thank you. It was a well-researched presentation, of course. I wanted to ask, are they still expanding their dosa bakery business? Because as far as I remember, in 2013-14, they were expanding with a very good speed. However, I haven't seen that expansion happening in recent years. Is that correct, or is this just my uh, uh, wrong observation?
No, ma'am, I think you're right.
Because in the beginning they were expanding at a really good speed. However, this expansion has been curtailed in past few years. But
Yes, ma'am. Competition ज़्यादा होगी गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, उनको उस तरह का रिस्पांस नहीं मिला जो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे.
I know. And then there are the chains like Cakes and Bakes. They have their chains. I have seen that they have expanded really well. Other than that, I am not sure what.
Yes, ma'am, they have completely changed their outlook, and they have made like a big effort for changing all the stuff, renewing things.
There is another
Cakes and
chain of
bakes.
confectionery that I have observed in the city. It's named after a city in Sweden. Its name is Malmo, Malmo Bakery. Malmo is a city of Sweden. So maybe you have observed this or not. But however, there is this conglomeration. Although here we are discussing only media conglomeration, but the overall concept of conglomeration is also related with the concept of these multinational corporations and how they expand their control. When you translate this concept of media conglomeration in transnational media, you will be amazed to see the facts, like how these tech giants, especially Amazon and the Uber, like how they have expanded their control. And Silicon Valley, which is in San Francisco, it is really, I mean, considered to be the control area for future, because all these tech giants, including Google, Apple, Microsoft, Uber, Amazon, Facebook, WhatsApp, they have their offices there in Silicon Valley. Is anyone familiar with Silicon Valley? Is anyone here? G?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so it's really stunning to see their control, how it is expanding. And maybe I have talked about this earlier, but I would like to repeat the same information, that the way these tech giants are expanding their control, it is ringing bells for regulation, for their regulation, because their regulation is a new concept. How do we regulate these tech giants? Their control, their access is beyond boundaries. I mean, think about newspapers. Earlier they had their limited access, like a few copies would reach to Pakistan through postal mail a few days later, the publication. But these tech giants, they have their control. I mean, they do not see the boundaries. There are no visas, of course, for them. So just whenever you get your signals, you get your messages. Anyways, who would like to go next? Thank you, Usman, for your presentation, Bede.
Ma'am, can I go next?
Wait a minute, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Ji, Bede, go ahead. Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Umar, ma'am.
Umar. Ji, Umar. Bede, go ahead, please.
I've also chose Dunia Media Group as my topic, but my stance is a bit different from my previous presenter, Usman. So I'll start with the basics. Dunia Media Group is owned by a very well-known Pakistani businessman and politician, Mia Amir Mahmood. And this whole thing is a project of Punjab Group of Colleges, which was a base of the Dunia Media Group. He also owns various universities, colleges, and organizations, but the headquarters of Dunia Media Group is in Lahore. Its sister channels are Dunia Entertainment and Lahore News. It was launched on 1st December 2008, which was 13 years back approximately. Other things that are part of Dunia Media Group, and those things make it a conglomerate. So the first one is Capital University of Science and Technology in Islamabad, EFA Schools in Lahore is a chain of resource academia schools which deals in O levels and A levels especially. Hadaf group of colleges that are situated in KPK, Muhammad Ali Jinnah University in Karachi, allied schools in whole Punjab, then the Tower Tech, which is a very well known technology based in corporation. Then there is Lahore News, which is a local television channel in Lahore. The channel transmits local news, current affairs, sports, arts, events, and entertainment. The group also owns Dunia News and Daily Dunia Urdu newspaper. So if I talk about the ideological entanglement of this group, I didn't come across such any controversies or ideological entanglements, but I've observed that they are quite self-centered. They often promote their own departments and makes news about them a lot, and that makes sense because they have a lot of things to cover. So, and Dunia News is mostly based on a couple of talk shows like Madde Mukabil, Off the Record, Breaking Point with Malik, Khabar Hai, Live with Dr. Shahid Masood. And I've always observed that their talk shows are not very biased. They mostly focus on current affairs. And and as we all know that AirY, and there's a concept about AirY and Geo, that AirY is pro PTI and Geo is an anti channel. So I don't think that there is any such thing exists in Dunia News, and their ideologies are quite straight. And Dunia News content is always around current affairs, and I think that it's the most unbiased media group of Pakistan till now, according to my observation. Yes, ma'am. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Umar, for your presentation. Your material, the content that you presented was very well researched. I appreciate you on that. You talked about many of their services that are available to people in Pakistan. I'm not quite sure of them, but I would like to know that what was your source for your research? From where did you get all this information?
Ma'am, ma'am, can you hear me?
Gigi.
Ma'am, I have searched different pages, different websites about Dunia News, and there was a website. Let me just check the name 1 minute, and I'll tell you the name from where I've gathered the information about the different, that parts of like universities and schools and all that. Just give me a minute.
Chalo, theek hai. Thank you so much, Umar. The thing is that I appreciate your research, and it seems to me that you spent considerable amount of time doing all this research. However, there is this caveat. Please be careful about the information that you find on internet. Not all sites are credible. I think being scholars, it is by now we should have learned that what sites seem credible and what sites do not. But I really appreciate you for this extensive research, because you talked about some services that this conglomerate offers. However, I wasn't aware of them. And then you came up with a very good argument. You said that I couldn't see any ideological entanglement per se, or you said that it was hard for you to actually exactly pinpoint any case which can be translated into the example of ideological entanglement. But let me tell you that when you are talking about the all of this, like the when you're talking about the scope of their services that they offer, like imagine they have their presence in the field of education, they have their presence in the field of food, they have their presence in the field of media, they have their presence in the field of cultural artifacts, they have their presence in the field of commerce, in economics,
Yes, ma'am.
and not only that, they have their presence in the field of politics as well. Mia Amir Mahmood is a politician. So
Yes, ma'am.
when a single parent organization is having presence in all of these walks of life, a real question here to ask is that it really impinges upon the idea of diversity. There is this single parent organization, and of course they would go with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
same ideological mindset, uh, be it commercial. I mean, that ideology can also be to go for commercial motives, for commercial gains, profit motives. Okay?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
itself is a ideologically entangled idea. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate you on your observation when you said that it was hard for me to find a really good example of ideological entanglement. But I think the presence of this media conglomerate in sort of all walks of life itself actually raises questions about the promotion of a single ideology. है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Right,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you, ma'am.
presentation. Yes, Adil, you want to say something?
Ma'am, you are talking about Mia Amir Mahmood. He was the mayor of Lahore in the era of Musharraf.
Ji, bete. That's what I was referring to when I was saying that you see presence in politics and in commerce. And if I'm not mistaken, because I have forgotten, please correct me here, he was associated with Lahore Chamber of Commerce as well. But I need to recheck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yes,
what
ma'am.
I was saying, that you see a conglomerate's presence in commerce, in politics, in media, in food, in education. So what else is left then? See, I think Dunya News presents a perfect example of conglomeration in Pakistan. The idea
Yes, ma'am.
began in West, however, the idea is developing quickly in Pakistan as well. Thank you for your presentation, Umar. I enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Who will go next?
Ma'am, just one thing.
Gigi.
Ma'am, the information was taken from countrydevelopers.com.pk. I have already worked with it, and it's a very credible source.
Achha.
So you can check
Thank you.
that out if you want to recheck
Thank
the
you so
information.
much. Two credible sources that I can tell. I talked about Media Logic in last class. Another is I am writing
Yes, ma'am.
Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. It is owned by the government of Pakistan, and they sponsor surveys. Maybe I think they sponsor Gallup surveys in Pakistan as well. So Pakistan Bureau of Statistics is another credible. If you go to their websites, they publish their reports on yearly basis. And even if you want to check this sort of information, that how many Urdu newspapers are being published in Pakistan, how many English newspapers, how many Pashto, Saraiki, Punjabi, and so many other informations. I think that's a very credible source, Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Okay? All right, who would like to go next? What about you, Abdullah Haroon, Abdullah Khalid? I know Aruj presented last time. Ayan Babar is still left. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Wasif. Bete, I have 10 minutes
Yes,
left. If this ends,
ma'am, could I go next?
Abdullah Haroon, do you want to go next?
Ma'am, after that, after the next.
Ayan, do you want to go next?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ayan, you go ahead. Please limit your presentation to 3 minutes only. To repeat, students, when we run out of time for this meeting, please join the same link for another meeting. Okay? However, I will finish the class at 12 sharp. Ji, over to you, Ayan.
Sure, ma'am. I have chosen a young group which was founded by Mir Khalilur Rahman after the Second World War, and it consists of major news broadcast channels of print and as well as electronic media. In print media, And magazines, there are Daily Jang, the Daily News, Daily Awam, Aftab, Inqilab, and the News International. And for the magazine, they have MAG, Weekly Magazine. And for English, they have Akhbar-e-Jahan. And in electronic media, they have Geo News Channel, which is for the news, and Arc TV for the youth, Geo Super for sports, and Geo Kahani for dramas. They also have Geo Taste for the entertainment purpose. Mir Shakirur Rahman is the current head of the current CEO of the Jung Group, and he also holds the title of editor in chief. Ma'am, Jung Group is often accused as anti-PTI, and they often bash government for not fulfilling their promises. Ma'am, on 7 June 2014, Geo News was banned by the Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority (PEMRA), a government media watchdog agency, for 15 days, along with a fine of 10 million Pakistani. The government of Pakistan accused the channel of defaming the malingering some people in Pakistan. That's it, ma'am.
Thank you for your presentation, Ayan. Again, better you didn't give us any clear example for ideological entanglements. However, that's a time-taking thing. Time-taking in the sense that you need to really think about it and do a little bit research as well. But I hope you can prepare really good examples for our midterm presentation. This presentation was only of 10 points, and this is a sort of preparatory session for your midterm. In midterm, I would like to go for recorded presentation. However, I think here I was helping you building how to build your argument, how to go for cogent and tangible examples, and how to actually develop your case, especially when you are describing such an idea. Thank you for your presentation.
Ma'am, can you send a detailed email about the midterm exam?
Midterm, I'm going to announce the midterm exam date today as well. I was thinking about getting done with presentations first, but I can talk about it first. Better your midterm, your midterm presentation will be due, I will give you midterm presentation on 28th May. Which is going to be a Friday, and I will give you a weekend and Monday as well. And by next Wednesday, the Wednesday that will come after May the 28th would be the deadline. So this gives you ample time to work on it. However, it will be of 20 marks, and we will talk about it at length soon after we are back from Eid break, because I am announcing 28th May is the date when you will get your questions for your recorded presentation. That is going to be a Friday. So today is the last day of the class before the Eid break. After today, we will be back on May the 17th. And then we will have 2 more weeks. So the syllabus will include everything that we will have covered by May 26th, which is Wednesday. On May 28th, you will get a question for which you will have to do recorded presentation. And I will give you 4 to 5 days for the submission. Submission will happen on Moodle. Any question? Any question related to that?
No, ma'am.
All right.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Go next. Abdullah Beta, you said you could go next. Abdullah Harun.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Gigi, go ahead, please.
Walaikum salam.
The media group which I select is a 24 News, the 24 group, which is owned by Gohar Ijaz. He also owned the society Lake City, which is one of which we already know and see ads, commercials on TV channels. The propaganda which has made before 2 years before is of the Coke Fest. मैम जब इनका ना कुछ हुआ था कि डील्स कोक फेस्ट के एड्स के बारे में, क्योंकि जो 24 न्यूज़ था उस पे उनके एड्स ज्यादा चले थे और उस पे उन्होंने अपना मतलब एक एडवांटेज लिया था और ये एक प्रोपेगेंडा क्रिएट हो गया था। दूसरी चीज इस पे एक और हुई थी जब ये 2-3 साल पहले 9वीं 10वीं मुहर्रम का एक जुलूस कवर कर रहे थे और ये ज्यादातर मतलब शिया सेक्ट के कवर करते हैं, तो उस पे कोई गाली दी थी, कुछ हुआ था, तो उस बारे में, और इनसे ऑन एयर हो गई थी, तो उस पे काफी मतलब प्रोपेगेंडा क्रिएट हुआ था।
Thank you for your presentation, Abdullah Bete. I appreciate you for the choice of the channel and the information that you brought to us, that there is this 24 news channel and they also own like they are in the business of real estate as well. However, the incident that you described for your example of ideological entanglement, I feel like you need to do a little bit more research on it, because you can only talk about it when you are very much knowledgeable about it. But other than that, the rest was fine. Thank you. जी अच्छा, अब एक बात मुझे बताएं please. Do I have anyone else in the list today who wants to present? Because if other students are not ready, then there is no point of doing another session, another meeting.
Ma'am, I haven't prepared anything because I didn't take any classes, which was obviously my fault, but I'm just letting you know.
ठीक है, फिर please come prepared in next class. Ji Wasif, Muhammad Wasif, do you want to present today?
Yes, ma'am.
Ji beta, we have only 2.5 minutes left. Maybe you can, and you will be the last presenter then, because I don't see any presenters in the list. ठीक है, तो उसमें यह है कि please finish your presentation in 2.5 minutes, and for the rest of people, I can do presentations after we are back. But however, before I break off the meeting, I would like to say you all Eid Mubarak, and I wish you all a very happy, restful, and productive Eid break. Thank you. Over to you, Muhammad Wasif.
Ma'am, the group, new media group I choose is the Nawai Waqt group, which is currently owned by Majid Nizami Trust. It was launched on March 23, 1940 under the leadership of Hamid Nizami. Nawai Waqt Group is the oldest tradition in the country. Nawai Waqt Group has expanded the print portfolio by introducing English and Urdu newspaper. Genres of this magazine range from politics and news to entertainment and lifestyle. Nawai Waqt also entered electronic media with 24-hour news and entertainment channel, which is Waqt News. This channel is not only available on television broadcast but also streamed live on internet such as YouTube. Publications and channels of Nawai Waqt are Phool Magazine, Family Magazine,
Sorry, I interrupted, but can you talk about ideological entanglement?
मैम मुझे समझ नहीं क्या कह रही हैं आप?
Okay, I appreciate your research on Nawai Waqt. That's okay, but can you answer second part of question now?
And which part?
Which is related to example of ideological entanglement.
Entanglement.
चले ठीक है, thank you Muhammad Wasif. I have graded your presentation. Our time has run out. We do not have any other class now. We will meet we will meet on May 17th. ठीक है? Thank you. Eid Mubarak, and again wish you all a very happy Eid and a very